You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Okay, so we were talking about vitamin E. Love this stuff. I've been using it in the skincare world in formulations since I started formulating products back in the 1980s. Always use vitamin E. And I've been dispensing vitamin E for skin health issues. Vitamin E is a really, really underappreciated healing vitamin. So many things about vitamin E that are important. Yesterday we talked about its relationship to seizure disorders and epilepsy. We talked about an article from the journal Alternative Medicine Review. This is March 2007 that showed that vitamin E had a calming and stabilizing effect, reducing seizure frequency, helping patients reduce their drugs, their anticonvulsant drugs. Another article from the Annals of Internal Medicine, June 1940. That's right around the time vitamin E was really starting to be discovered, or the benefits of vitamin E were starting to be discovered. Rats and mice exposed to pure oxygen had seizures, but when they were given vitamin E, they didn't have seizures. From the journal Epilepsia, January-February 1989 edition. A study of epileptic children with seizure disorders found that adding vitamin E to their medication was accompanied by a, quote, significant, unquote, reduction in seizures in 10 of 12 cases. These results all point to a calming, stabilizing effect for vitamin E. It's a protector vitamin. It's our guardian vitamin. Seizures represent destability, chaos, energy out of control. And vitamin E is a calming vitamin, a stabilizing vitamin. It's the St. Anthony of vitamins. It restores and maintains peace and tranquility at the cell level, whether it's heart cells, whether it's nerve cells, whether it's skin cells, whether it's brain cells. All disease is cell disease, and all cell disease is the end result of chaos, of a chaotic, out-of-control cell activity, which ultimately leads to a kind of damming up of things, a clogging. But it starts with out-of-control chaos. That leads to clogging, and the clogging causes a lack of nutrients, lack of oxygen, and accumulation of toxicity. The nature of vitamin E's roles as a calming and protecting vitamin reveal a major clue for us about disease and about taking care of disease and why the medical model doesn't work. Disease, biochemical breakdowns, chronic illnesses, even aging itself are all the result of this hyped up chaotic activity. Out of control, excessive something, cell division, out of control secretion of fibers, out of control secretion of fluids, out of control electrical sparking. All of this is what leads to the dysfunction. And then ultimately we get this clogging and the stagnation. So it starts off with excess and chaos. Not only excess, but out of control, chaotic excess. Sicknesses, whether chronic long-term degenerative sicknesses, whether we're talking cancer, autoimmunity, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, seizure disorders, skin issues, acne, psoriasis, endometriosis in the female reproductive system. These are all manifestations of out-of-control, excessive, wild, crazy activity, leading to crazy secretion of fluids and growth of tissue and secretion of fibers and cells. And it's this excessive something at the microscopic level that leads to the clogging and the sluggishness at the level where we become sick. No matter what our sickness is. If we're feeling sick and tired and unable to move around and broken down, what's really happening is excess. And this is so important because this is where these calming nutrients become so important. The excesses lead to deficits. The excesses of secretions and growth leads to deficits in nutrition and oxygen and healthy biochemistry. That's why vitamin E is so important. That's why magnesium is so important. That's why vitamin C is so important. That's why omega-3 fatty acids are so important. That's why pregnenolone and progesterone, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. That's why all of these are so important. They calm things down. They stabilize things. They're stabilizers. And this is where the triangle of disease comes in. You have 3 points in the triangle of disease: the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the adrenal thyroid complex. And they all play a role in this chaos, for better or worse. Fundamental primal roles. When the digestive system breaks down and toxins leak into the blood, that's called leaky gut. This is where it all begins. The immune system becomes activated, and metabolism and cell activity becomes dynamic. You can actually assess leaky gut by doing something called a Coca pulse test. When we eat a problematic food that activates our immune system or somehow permeates into the blood through leaky gut, our pulse will race. And this was first discovered by a guy named Coca, Arthur Coca. He was a physician back in the 1950s, and he developed the Coca pulse test. And you can do this yourself. You don't need a fancy schmancy food allergy test, which doesn't even work anyway, because that doesn't tell you about the immediate results that's happening to you. Allergy tests are done in test tubes and in petri dishes. But you can be your own allergy test by doing a Coca pulse test. Just take a baseline pulse, just lightly place your finger in your wrist, eat a food, and then take your pulse again. If it's a problem food, you're going to have a subtle stress response that can be detected through this pulse, this increase in pulse. You don't even have to eat the food. Sometimes just putting the food on your tongue can do it. Just leaving the food on your tongue can cause an increase in pulse rate if you're really, really sensitized. So the first point of the triangle of disease, the breakdown in the digestive system, exerts its negative effects on health because it amps things up. Sugar, obviously, second point of the triangle of disease, obviously that kicks up energy. All parents know that giving kids apple juice or Coke or smoothies can have their bouncing off the walls. Breakfast cereals, Pop-Tarts, orange juice. Hyperactivity, attention deficits, schizophrenia, even the crazy rambling of schizophrenics. These are all manifestations of a hyped up energy that can be caused by elevated blood sugar. If you know a schizophrenic person who's having a psychotic break or who's not being controlled perhaps, get them off sugar. Watch what happens. Or put them on sugar and watch what happens. Put them on extra sugar because schizophrenics are usually eating a lot of sugar. It's one of the things about schizophrenia is these bizarre amounts of sugar and Coke and sweet foods that they eat. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Don't go away. Okay, so the 3 points of the triangle of disease work to cause the body to break down because they cause an amping up of things, an amping up of activity, cell activity. Cell activity has to be structured, has to be controlled. You can't just have random activity. Sugar amps up the body. Food allergens amp up the body. I should say cells. Sugar amps up cells, creating this kind of chaos. Food allergens, food toxins can do it. An activated immune system can do it. This is why fasting is so important, by the way. This is why fasting is so beneficial, and the ketogenic diet. They slow things down. The reason drugs don't work is because drugs have the pharmacomedical model can only shut things down, not slow things down in the sense that they can control things. Remember, it's this balance of you got to have activity, but it has to be structured activity. It has to be controlled activity. Drugs can't restore order. What drugs can do is they can poison the system. That's why they don't work. And that's why we have side effects and toxicity. Because all they can do is shut things down. They can't stabilize things. That's what poisoning is about. That's what toxicity is all about. When I say drugs are poison, I mean they can't control or stabilize or structure. They can just shut things down. Drugs are always going to be poisons. Always. They are always going to be toxins. Only nutrition can stabilize. Only nutrition can control. That's why nutrition is the perfect medicine. This is what it means to have food be thy medicine. Food and nutrition have a stabilizing effect, not a suppressant effect. There's no anti-foods. There's anti-medicines, but there's no anti-foods. Foods stabilize. Nutrition stabilizes. It's a big difference. Cells are always in activity. This is one of the neatest things about cells that nobody talks about. Cells are always moving. They're always in activity. They're always doing something until they die. They're always doing something. And the things they're doing are so mind-blowing that if we contemplated on it, if somebody would teach us this for even 30 seconds in elementary school, we couldn't live our lives the way we live our lives today. If we understood that these cells are producing millions of things per second. Millions. How does this even happen in a space that's a 1/100th the size of a head of a pin? Millions of chemicals are being secreted and manufactured and destroyed and processed and channeled and directed and with an order that is absolutely staggering, mind-blowing, jaw-dropping. And this is happening in us at every moment, every second. Do you know every second your body is producing trillions, with a T, trillions of red blood cells. Trillions are constantly being made, constantly being turned over. The amount of dynamism that's going in the body that starts off at the cell level is beyond belief, literally. It cannot be understood or believed. It just has to be appreciated. But the problem is that when we lack these stabilizing nutrients, or when we put toxins into the body, all that energy becomes chaotic. It's not stabilized. You can just imagine if we have all this energy, it has to be stable. It has to be structured somehow. What makes us sick is when that energy becomes chaotic. What makes us healthy is the ability to control and stabilize that activity, to channel all that energy into productivity. Sick cells don't need more energy and they don't need less energy. They need stable energy, channeled energy, controlled energy. And when we get sicker, or when our cells get sicker, same thing. Whether from a lack of oxygen or a lack of nutrition or accumulation of toxicity, those are the three reasons why cells get sick. Lack of oxygen, lack of nutrition, and accumulation of toxicity. What ultimately happens is cells lose their ability to control things. They lose their ability to stabilize all that energy. Disease is a hyper state, a chaotic state. Health is not about more activity, it's about stabilizing that activity, and this is why medicine doesn't work. And not understanding this is why we go to the doctor, that we take drugs, or our doctor gives us drugs. The pharmacomedical model is either about amping up the activity of cells, as in Parkinson's drugs, or Alzheimer's drugs, or antidepressants, or immune-boosting drugs, or alternatively, it's about shutting things down. Anti-inflammatories, beta blockers, calcium channel blockers. Stabilizing is a much more sophisticated process. Drugs can't stabilize. God stabilizes. The divine force stabilizes. Drugs can amp things up or shut things down by poisoning them, but it can't control it. It can't stabilize it. This is a very highly sophisticated process. Not too much, not too little. That's called normalization. That's the technical term for it. Not too much, not too little. If it's too much, it pulls it down. If it's too little, it pulls it up. Somehow, nutrients understand how to do this. They normalize things. Drugs and surgeries and radiation cannot do this. Nutrients can do it. Oxygen can do it. Carbon dioxide can do it. Doctors cannot. This is so powerful because who controls this? We do. We control from the comfort of our own couch at home by using our supplements, by eating correctly, by exercising, by breathing correctly, by relaxing. Medicine can't work. It can't normalize, but we don't need it. That's the good news. We don't need it for any health challenge, any long-term chronic progressive degenerative health challenge, and even if it's some kind of weird genetic anomaly, you could still improve the condition. You may not be able to reverse it entirely, but you can improve the condition dramatically by understanding that it's normalization and stabilization, and that's the job of nutrition and oxygen and detoxification. This normalization process, it requires energy. Yes, there has to be energy, but it has to be Goldilocks energy. Not too hot, not too small, not too big, not too small, not too much, not too little. They call that the Goldilocks principle. The cell is always dynamic. It's always moving, but it needs to have that dynamism structured, controlled. There have to be braking molecules, like brakes on a car. You know, if you lose the brakes on a car, disaster awaits. If a cell loses brakes on its metabolism, cancer awaits. That's what cancer is. The brakes have been gone. The brakes are lost. And that's why vitamin E is so important. That's why the ketogenic diet is so important. That's why fasting is so important. All of these function to stabilize things. Vitamin E stabilizes electrical energy. The ketogenic diet gives the body more power and more torque, so it doesn't have to use as much energy, more bang for your buck with the ketogenic diet. And by the way, the vitamin E and the ketogenic diet work hand in hand. They work together. Because vitamin E protects fats, and because the ketogenic diet involves ingestion of more fats, when you're trying to take advantage of the ketogenic diet, you're going to be burning through vitamin E. And you're going to be deficient in vitamin E. Most of us are going to be deficient in vitamin E anyway, because it's hard to find vitamin E in a lot of foods. There's not a lot of foods that contain large amounts of vitamin E, and food processing takes it out. So the more ketogenic diet, the more you want to leverage the ketogenic diet, or the more fat you're eating, or the more grains you're eating, or the more oil you're eating, the more EFAs you're taking, the more vitamin E you need. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Just one last thing here about vitamin E. So vitamin E is a stabilizing vitamin. It's not found in foods. It controls energy. This is why the more fats you eat, the more vitamin E you need Fats are pure energy or dense energy. And without enough vitamin E, that dense energy can cause chaos, can wreak havoc, chaos in the body. Now, the body has mechanisms for stabilizing things, but those mechanisms can become overwhelmed. That's why the more fat you're eating, if you're going ketogenic, the more vitamin E you need. 400 IU a day is a good place to be, but at least 200 IU a day. There's all kinds of different ways to get vitamin E, but one way you're not going to get enough vitamin E anyway is from food. It's not there. A little bit is. Grains are going to get you vitamin E, especially mostly the bran and the germ, which nobody eats. Fish will get you a little bit of vitamin E. Cabbage has a little vitamin E in it. All right, we'll continue this tomorrow. We'll talk about vitamin E, and then we'll also talk about a really, really neat hormone substance that you can buy in the health food store that, like vitamin E, has a calming effect on the body, stabilizing effect on the body. Super duper important. We've talked about it before, and we'll discuss it at length tomorrow. On the bright side, 844-236-6010 is our number. Mike in Toronto, Canada. Talk to me, buddy. Good to hear your voice. I'm glad you called.
Top of the morning to you over there.
Yes. We're doing a talk in Toronto. We're doing it. You and I are doing a talk. Tell folks.
We are really excited that you're going to be here in Toronto over the weekend. And for anybody in the Toronto area, Ben will be speaking Monday, April 11th, at the Willowdale Presbyterian Church, which is in North York, just off of Yonge Street, which is short for Longevity Street. They just didn't call it that because it would be
I love it. That's awesome. Longevity Street.
Yeah.
Can you give out your phone number? Do you mind, Mike, giving out your phone number so people can call you? Or maybe a website or something?
Sure, not a problem.
Okay.
647-678-7575. Willowdale Presbyterian Church, Monday. Doors open at 6:30. We're starting around 7. The guests are free. The only thing you need to pay is attention. And boy, you'll love it when Ben talks live.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks, man. Have a good day.
You're welcome. And one last thing, it's 38 Ellerslie Avenue. It's just off the subway line near the North York Civic Center, Mel Lastman. Really, really close. And we look forward to seeing you there, Ben. Thank you very much.
Take care, Mike.
Have a safe journey, buddy.
We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Mike. All right. And I'll also be at the Total Health Show in Toronto a couple days before. If you're out in that area, love to see you. I'll be doing a talk on Alzheimer's disease, a talk on skin health, actually a 3-hour lecture on skin health, and then an hour talk on the digestive system and the relationship of digestive health and digestive issues to all disease, all chronic degenerative disease. But of course, you guys know about all that because you've been listening to The Bright Side. Okay, 844-236-6010 is our number. Robert, what's going on? Robert in Colorado.
How are you today?
How you doing, my man?
Well, but I still have a couple issues. And,
Sounds stuffed up.
Are you stuffed up? I just wanted to say thank you. You've helped me before with an acute skin issue that I had once. It was a bacitracin allergy. So.
Oh, nice. I'm glad I could help. So what's going on today?
And also, I'm a Robert in Denver, a skinny one, but not the skinny
you're not the skinny Robert. But you and I have met?
No, but,
have we met in person?
I'd like to.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I could invite you out to Avery or something.
Well, I do Super Saturdays with Tom Chenault every once in a while, so next time I'm out there, you have to come to Longmont.
Sounds good.
Okay, so what's going on?
I have a few issues, of course, and I think I'm about to get the Dirty Blood lecture, but I am currently working with a naturopath in Denver.
Who can you mention the name?
Sure. Dr. Asplin. She's a brand new naturopath at the Denver, I think it's just Denver Naturopath Clinic.
Okay, go ahead then. Give me some details here. Tell me how I can help you.
So chronic pansinusitis, deviated septum, rhinitis. I have ongoing postnasal drip. You're much
clogged up. I could tell I could tell when you talked. You're clogged up. Yeah. So here's the deal. Clogging is always the result. It was what we were talking about here earlier. Clogging is a hyperactivity. Secretions are being emitted from cells. dramatically. That's what clogging, sinus clogging, I should say, is all about.
Okay.
And this is a manifestation of a defensive response. One of the ways the body protects itself is by sliming things away. Did you ever see Ghostbusters? You sound like a young guy, but there was a movie remember Ghostbusters? Remember how they used the slime? The green slime or the pink slime, or whatever color slime it was. That's how the body protects itself. It slimes away the enemy. So whenever you've got mucus or fluids in the head, which is a large concentration of immunity in the head, and in the sinuses, you're looking at a defensive response. Now, this can be triggered by breathing something. Sometimes that'll happen. But for the most part, you're looking at something getting into the blood, dirty blood, like you said, something getting into the blood. It's a response to the blood. And of course, unless you're injecting things in through your skin, obviously that means food. So if I were you, this is what I would be doing, all right? Because it's got to be miserable. I can only imagine. This is what you got to do. You got to hit the reset button, clear the decks, do a Suero V cleanse, or fast for 2 or 3 days if you can. Suero V cleanse is when you get the Suero V from Longevity. Do half a bottle every hour, 6 bottles in a 12-hour day. Do it for 2 or 3 days. Clear the decks. You'll notice right away that your sinuses will start to improve. To the degree they'll improve is related to how bad off you are now. So I can't tell you how much they'll improve, but you'll notice some improvement. Then what's going to happen is you're going to eat again as normal, but just don't eat a bunch of different types of food. Just eat 1 or 2 types of food, or 1 type of food ideally, and watch what happens to your sinuses. Start with your favorite foods. There's a very interesting phenomenon that happens where we eat our favorite foods, or we become addicted to our favorite foods because it somehow softens the blow of these immune responses. The body kind of uses these favorite foods and says, oh, it's familiar, and the immune response gets dampened a little bit. But when you lay off of them for 2 days, you're going to notice it again real quickly. Hang on, Robert. I'll finish when we come back, okay? Don't go away. All right. I'm Pharmacist Ben. If you're on hold, we'll get to you as well. We're talking to Robert in Denver. You there, Robert?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the deal. And you should take this back to the naturopath, and she'll understand. She should understand everything that I'm saying here. I'm sure you will as well.
Yeah, and I let her know that I listen to you and kind of want to get both of your opinions.
Okay, well, here's the deal. Just tell her what I'm saying. If you tell her what I tell you here, she'll understand. There's no way she could disagree with this, okay? Your secretions and fluid secretions in the head are always the manifestation of a defensive response. It's the body's sliming response, the body attempting to slime things away. It's an evolutionarily developed system that helps protect the body from attack. Attack can only come from 2 directions, okay? It's going to come in through your skin, rarely. I should say 3 directions. Through your skin, rarely. You have to inject stuff in, vaccines and IV drugs, etc.
I avoid that.
Okay, good. Through the nose, obviously this can trigger it, and you're going to have to filter that out, and you're going to have to assess whether that's a problem. I suspect not, because you would have noticed that. It would be seasonal, or it would occur where in specific areas in your house or where you are. Or third, the only other place it could be. And this is it. This is just logic. This isn't my opinion or an assessment. It's just logic. It has to come in through the digestive system. It's the only place it can come in. That means food. So when you eliminate, when you stop eating for 2 or 3 days, what you're going to notice is that foods that you usually could eat and not notice a problem, or not be aware of a problem, it's probably there, are your favorite foods. Okay, so start off with your favorite foods and try to pick just 1 food, eat it all day. And I'm suspecting you're going to notice something. If you don't notice something, that's a food that's acceptable. If you do notice something, you scratch that off your acceptable list and you move on to the next food, and you keep doing this. Okay? Now,
and actually, she has had me do a food journal. And
what are you noticing?
Also, I really couldn't find the pattern.
Because you're not doing it correctly. You have to do it the way I told you. Okay? Stop eating. Okay. Hit the reset button. You get what I mean when I say hit the reset button?
Yeah.
Clear the decks.
Yeah, and I have fasted a couple of times. I haven't gone any longer than 2 days, but
even 2 days. But if you do 3, that's good. I like 3 days. Okay, and then hit the reset.
She's also had me do a dairy elimination.
Well, you can assume dairy's a problem first, or you can eat a bunch of dairy and see, but usually that's going to be an issue. And grains too, all of that. But there's subtle ones too that may be just idiosyncratic, maybe yours personally. Tomatoes. You know, something that you think is gentle and benign and no problem may be a problem for you. Some kind of food additive that you're eating a lot of food, eating a lot of Kraft macaroni and cheese, or whatever it is you're doing. I don't know. I'm just making that up. Okay. So you understand the point. The next thing is you want to start to stabilize the gut, particularly at the intestinal level, with probiotics. Probiotics play a major and underappreciated role when it comes to immunity. Major and underappreciated. It can make a huge difference. You might have to experiment with the dose. You might have to experiment with the brand. I like the Biolumin Nightly Essence, or now the Ultimate Nightly Essence, they're calling it. I like that one, but you may have to experiment. You may have to experiment with the amount you're taking. Eating fermented food can also help you, and then doing anything you do to correct digestive issues if they're there. That means apple cider vinegar with your meals, the Ultimate Enzymes with your meals, perhaps bile salts or lecithin with your meals. Just work on the gut is what I'm saying here. All right? You have a gut problem. It's showing up in your head, but you got to assume it's a gut problem until you discover different. You got to assume it's a gut problem. Like I say, it could be something you're breathing, but I find that unlikely. All right, Robert. I hope I helped you, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, buddy. I'd like to hear what the naturopath says if you get a chance. Call us back after you share this with
Absolutely.
the naturopath. Okay, buddy. Take care. Okay, Dillon in Texas. What's up, man? Welcome to the bright side.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I am fascinated with your information.
Nice. I appreciate that. You're a smart guy, obviously, Dillon.
Yes, sir. I called a while back, and I've lost a lot of weight just listening to you guys. Got off of gluten.
Nice.
I got a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
Well, actually, I got 100 of them. I'm sure everybody who calls you got 100 also.
Okay. Well, you get one. I got a couple more calls to get to, but go ahead. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I've got. I love beans, corn, and potatoes.
Okay.
How could I handle those safely?
Well, that's like playing with fire. How do you handle fire safely? Beans, corns, and potatoes. You know what I would do if I were you? I'd enjoy the potatoes and have very small amounts of beans and corn. Well, here's the thing. First of all, let's see. You want to see how you react to them. Spend all day eating. This will be fun for you. Spend all day eating beans. See what happens. Spend the next day eating potatoes. See what happens. Spend the next day eating corn and see what happens. Okay? Because I could tell you from a generic sense that these are problem foods, but I don't know how you're going to react to them. Some people can handle them. So you want to see how you react to them. If it turns out that you can't handle them, there's a couple strategies you might want to explore. And this is for anybody who enjoys these kinds of foods but can't handle them. You can start to strengthen your digestive system and your ability to process these foods and then eat less of them and see if that makes a difference. For example, beans, you can use, there's a product called Beano. You may have heard of that. That's an enzyme that helps the body process beans. You can use regular digestive enzymes. You can use probiotics. So eat your beans all day. Chances are, and I don't know this is for sure, but the chances are good you're going to have a problem with it. So spend the next day eating your beans with digestive enzymes, or maybe take some probiotics for a day or two, and then eat your beans with digestive enzymes and apple cider vinegar and maybe some Beano, and see how your body, if that makes a difference, and eat less of the beans. Maybe you can get away with eating less beans with digestive support. You follow me here? Likewise with potatoes and sugar. Eat a bunch of potatoes, see what happens, and spend the next day or spend a couple days loading up on probiotics and supporting your digestive system. Then eat the potatoes with enzymes and apple cider vinegar, etc., and see what happens. Potatoes do contain a toxin that some people can't handle. Corn contains gluten-like substance. I don't know if it has directly gluten, but gluten-like substances that people can't handle. The sugar is also intense. And also the beans. And by the way, what do you think the beans, the potatoes, and the corn all have in common that you and everybody else, not you just alone, Dillon, everybody loves so much? What do you think?
I really don't know.
I'll tell you. Sugar.
Okay.
Sugar. They break down into sugar.
I am cutting back. I'm trying to cut back on my sugar.
No, Dillon, listen to me, brother. Listen, I want you to hear this. Potatoes and corn and beans are sugar. That's why we prefer them over vegetables. We're evolutionarily designed to go for sugar, not vegetables. Why? Vegetables are bitter. Throughout history, evolutionary history, bitter meant poison. So if you put broccoli on the table and you put mashed potatoes on the table, 99% of people are going for the mashed potatoes. You understand? Because from a evolutionary standpoint, we are driven to find sugar. Our ancestors were sugar-seeking machines because you need sugar, and there was no sugar. So we evolved. We're the descendants of ancestors that have a finely tuned sense of sugar. Vegetables, on the other hand, have traditionally or are bitter, and traditionally, bitter meant poison. So we are compelled to go for the sugar. Beans, corn, and potatoes are just disguised forms of sugar. Not as bad as, candy or cake, obviously, but nonetheless, that's where do you think high fructose corn syrup comes from? Where do you think corn syrup comes from, right? It's all sugar. So if you can't get off the sugar or you're finding it hard, and this is for everybody, more protein. Willpower is very difficult to leverage for most of us. Not all of us, but for most of us, me included. But protein has a tendency to get you off to help you wean yourself off of sugar, and there's some very interesting reasons for that, by the way. Also, specifically, an amino acid called glutamine, which is found in high protein foods, and also something called branched chain amino acids. Both of those can have an appetite suppressant and a carb suppressant effect if you can't get off the carbs. That's another thing you could do. And then lastly, more fat and more spices, especially the combination of fat and spices. And if you heat your veggies, you warm your veggies, whether steaming or braising, you will release the sugar and it'll taste sweeter to you. And you'll get the benefit of the veggies as well. Still sugar, but you'll get the benefits of the veggies.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
All right, Dillon.
One question real quick. My son surprised me with the Beyond Tangerine. It's fantastic. I love it.
Oh, nice.
Listen, I got one quick, just yes or no. Unfortunately, years ago before I knew you guys, I ended up with a pacemaker. And I feel so fantastic. I was wondering, has you in your lifetime, or maybe in Dr. Wallach's lifetime, has anybody ever had a pacemaker removed and not needed it?
I haven't heard of a pacemaker removal. I don't imagine. I imagine it could be done. When the heart is out of rhythm, there are wonderful, wonderful nutritional strategies and dietary strategies for dealing with that. You don't necessarily need a pacemaker. I can't speak for your particular case, but you don't necessarily need a pacemaker. As far as having it removed, I don't know, if you're doing good and you feel great, just take care of yourself, man. Just make sure you're doing your electrical nutrients, your EFAs. Make sure you're reducing the sugar, keeping the sugar down. You sound good, and if you're feeling good, I wouldn't worry about it, my friend. Magnesium also very important.
Right now, but by God's grace, I'm 72, and I feel like
praise God.
Sometimes 19.
That's awesome. You sound wonderful, Dillon. I'm glad you called. Right. Thank you. Have a great day, man. All right. Well, I apologize if I left you on hold. 844-236-6010 is our number. You guys call first thing on the program. I know we got to leave you on hold, but I hate leaving people at the end of the program. Anyway, check out my website, TruthTreatments.com, and our Retinol 5% gel. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves an awesome, wonderful, beautiful, spectacular day, folks. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. Blockitpocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. Blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com. And like us on Facebook.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body Brain and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Pharmacist Ben Fuchs believes virtually all disease states can be backtracked to digestive problems.
Deficiencies in stomach acid can affect all downstream systems. Taking digestive enzymes can be amazingly helpful for dealing with deficiencies in stomach acid. Enzymes require low pH for activation. You can also use aloe vera juice, by the way. Sugars in aloe vera have a coating effect on the digestive system. Longevity has a cool product called Noni Plus, which is made from aloe and the noni fruit. It's tasty. It can also function to support digestive acidification of the stomach, and activation of digestive enzymes.
Take Pharmacist Ben's advice and support your digestive system by ordering Noni Plus from Longevity. Call 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470, or on the web at brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com. Order today.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care, as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. buysellmakeoffer.com.
Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now.
Suffering from illness or disease? Frequently in pain? Overstressed? Always tired? The solution is to oxygenate your cells because disease cannot survive in an oxygen-rich environment. Introducing Vital Ion, the first mineralized edible oxygen in the world. Go to toolsforfreedom.com and get the Miracle of Oxygenation DVD free with any Vital Ion purchase. Call 800-770-8802. That's 800-770-8802. Let Vital Ion edible oxygen be your daily fountain of youth.
And Fuchs is a registered pharmacist who understands how important the B complex of vitamins is for maintaining a healthy heart. That's why he drinks Pollen Burst from Longevity's complete line of nutritional supplements.
Pollen Burst has got the B vitamins in there, and the B vitamins are so fascinating because most people are going to be deficient in the B vitamins because they're rapidly processed out of food. And the B vitamins work on the brain, the heart, the skin, and the digestive system. When it comes to heart disease, we got 600,000 people in this country who die of heart disease every year. Some 64 million Americans have some form of heart disease. The B vitamins, a nickel's worth of B vitamins every day, is the most powerful nutritional way to protect yourself from heart disease.
To feed your heart the nutrients it needs for good health, order Longevity's Pollen Burst by calling 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Or on the web at brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com.
A good stove is at the top of the list for any serious survivalist. That's why you have to see the full range at emberlit.com. Simple, elegant, but extraordinarily efficient. Available in titanium or stainless steel, the Emberlit line of stoves are ultralight, pack flat, and work great. Fueled only by sticks and debris. From emergency situations to long-term survival, Emberlit stoves are up to the task. Emberlit, the most convenient, easy-to-carry wood stoves on the planet. See them all at emberlit.com.